everyone, welcome to this week's Halton Hills Housing Update. So now we are in the middle of January, so let's see where our numbers landed this week. So in Georgetown this week, we had 6 sales. It's not a high number, not the lowest we've seen, but I do imagine we're gonna see that number start to pick up because we are seeing inventory starting to pick up. Not dramatically, but it is coming. So we had 7 new listings in Georgetown last week. It's not a huge number, but some of those properties actually were ones that terminated and re-entered from last year. So this is going to be interesting to watch as, you know, the market sort of picks up here, if that's going to be a trend that we continue to see. Acton was the interesting story. It had 5 sales last week. It has been very slow for the last 4 weeks in Acton, so to see 5 sales is kind of surprising. There was 4 new listings, so we did see some new inventory hitting the market there, but to see Acton sales almost the same as Georgetown is an interesting thing. But in Acton, there was a couple properties like freehold, detached, under 700,000, and those were some of the ones that moved. So not surprising to see that lower price point, still the one that's sort of generating the business. There was no sales, no new listings in Limehouse or Glen Williams, and the rural market had no sales, but 4 new listings. And again, some of those properties are re-entering the market, so 4 new listings in rural is a high number for a week in the rural market. When we're looking at properties that terminated, suspended, all of that stuff, there was 9 of them impacted this week. 4 of them relisted at a reduced price. So almost half of them actually re-entered the market, which is a shift to, you know, exiting the market. 2 of them relisted at the exact same price, and 3 of them exited the market, did not relist their houses yet. So that's interesting because we have been seeing very high numbers since the middle of October, week to week, of people terminating and not relisting. And this week we actually saw more people relisting than coming off. So I think it's safe to say we've sort of seen that exodus come and go. And now it's going to be more so price reductions if the market doesn't bounce back here, but I think it's going to. The inventory is still relatively low. So looking at active inventory this week, all of Halton Hills is up from 109 to 112 active listings. So that is still a very low number in comparison to where we have come from, but not a huge spike week to week, but it's going in the upwards direction for once instead of downwards. So that's going to be a trend that we are going to watch for. In Georgetown, slight increase. We went from 56 to 58 active listings. That is still very low in terms of where, you know, sort of a saturated Georgetown market is. 58 is not a lot. And so I think the market is going to start to pick up here. I think it seems like buyers are re-entering the market and are feeling a little more confident with where interest rates are. We're seeing some interest rate drops from our lenders. I think all these things, if our inventory stays low, we could be back into a bit of a crazy market here. Looking at our price points, under 800,000 went from 12 to 11 active listings. There's still a ton of condo apartments and condo townhomes available in Georgetown, but we saw a couple of those move this week, so we saw the inventory drop there. 800 to $1 million is down from 13 to 12 active listings. That's a very low number in our busy pocket. I suspect we're going to start to see sales and prices pick up unless we see a huge amount of properties hit the market in that pocket. 1 to 1.5 million. Oh, this poor price point. So it's up significantly this week. I guess significantly. It went from 19 to 23 active listings. This price point always sort of struggles when the market isn't really hot. So we are on a climb again in that 1 to 1.5 price point. And 1.5 million plus remain the same this week at 12 active listings. That is not a lot. We have seen over 30 in that pocket. So to be down to 12, like, some of them are still subdivision houses and are never going to get the prices, but it is good to see that inventory is sort of softened in that higher price point and sellers are getting the message that the buyers aren't really willing to spend that kind of money right now. Looking at Acton, Acton is down from 20 to 19 active listings, so it did go down because we had more sales than listings this week, but it's still sitting relatively high. There's still a lot of stuff available there, but I'm going to be watching Acton because it was just interesting to see how close the sales were. Usually it's a really big gap compared to Georgetown, so maybe, Acton's the new hotspot. Glen Williams went from 6 down to 5 active listings due to a termination. pretty low inventory in the Glen right now. But like I've been talking about, there's this one detached that's very low, and then you have to have like $2 million plus to be buying in the Glen. So just, that's what's happening there. Nothing's really moving in the Glen. Limehouse has no active listings still, and the rural market is up from 27 to 30 active listings. So overall this week, I mean, the market is moving. There's sales happening. We only had 11 this week, which isn't a huge number, but like there's a bunch in the sold conditional status, and it just feels like things are getting a little busier. Not like crazy, but I think we are going to start to see some momentum in this market. And the only thing that will really kill that is a huge influx of inventory. So we've been talking about, like, we'll sort of see how January pans out. So that's kind of what I'm interested to see, where we end up at the end of January. If, you know, our inventory has started to pick back up, that might not be a great sign going into the spring. But if we continue to see sales around the number of listings we're getting and the market stays stabilized, I think we're actually going to have a really busy spring. So we'll see what happens. I will be back next Tuesday. Have a great week, everyone.